Hi, everyone. Josh Ruger here with Perry Elliott-Arani, my partner in crime during the morning hours. And Perry, we're here right now because we've got some severe thunderstorms that are not only impacting our area right now, but also knocking on our doorstep at this time. We've had some strong severe storms already move through the Fayetteville area, and now a tornado warning just off to the west of our weather coverage area. So we've been talking about this all day. Certainly concerning with those thunderstorms in the River Valley because it's along that boundary that's going on. And now we're starting to get some reports of power outages as well in portions of Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're watching that just so far, a few hundred off to our west. Depends on the county, but as these things, and we were discussing about this earlier, all these things are underreported typically for the first little while. I mean, I'm looking at the updates. It's been 15 minutes since the last one, and we know that we've even gotten calls in our newsroom saying people in our areas power is out, at least so far. 100 customers in the Northwest Arkansas and River Valley area. That's probably going to grow as we get those numbers in. And this storm is rolling through.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the River Valley right now. Those ones are going to be cranking up throughout the rest of the morning hours. That's where the cold front is at this time. And that's why there is a tornado warning on a storm that's just off to the west of our weather coverage area. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now here on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. Here's a look at Mega Doppler right now, and you'll notice that these thunderstorms that are moving through northwest Arkansas at this time, not as significant, but still causing quite a bit of heavy rainfall right now. There's that severe thunderstorm warning that is in our weather coverage area right now, located over Winslow. That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect there for portions of southern Washington County as well as northern Crawford County. That will remain in effect until 10 o'clock a.m., so it remains in effect through about 10 more minutes. It's moving on to the east pretty quickly at 45 miles per hour, and it's in effect for quarter-size tail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. If we take a look at storm relative velocity, very outflow dominant. This is to be expected with those thunderstorms that are forming in northwest Arkansas. If you're living in northwest Arkansas, these storms are well north of the boundary right now, and that's why we're expecting those storms to not be as significant in portions of northwest Arkansas. But still something we're going to keep an eye on, of course. You never know when these storms could start ramping up across our area, especially when you have QLCS tornado potential and you get these semi-discrete supercells. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, the severe thunderstorm warning will remain in effect for southern Washington County and northern Crawford County until 10 o'clock a.m. So we'll keep an eye on that. There's certainly some hail going on there just off to the north of Winslow. Fayetteville just got through with the heavy rainfall, and now we've got some scattered thunderstorm development going on just off to the south and east of Huntsville as well. Now I'm going to zoom out here. We're going to take a look at that tornado warning storm again. This is not in our weather coverage area right now, but this is the most concerning thunderstorm. First of all, there's a severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable tag attached to it over Eufaula, Crowder, Quinton, and Stigler, and that is for 70-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-size tail. So that severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 10 o'clock a.m., so it's in effect for another 10 minutes. You can see it just got cropped out a little bit. There's also that tornado warning that's in effect. What's interesting is it seems like this storm might have slowed its forward momentum just a little bit because that first tornado warning was in effect here about 30 minutes ago, and now it's pretty much over the same area. So now this storm is moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour, and this one is going to expire at 10:15 a.m. So not in our weather coverage area, but taking aim at LaFleur County right now. So if you live around Spiro, Fort Coffee, Podo, you need to be keeping an eye on this storm. We're going to take a look at storm relative velocity on it. We're going to set that new storm motion from the warning. I think I've already done that, but Yeah, that's definitely some strong rotation right there with that storm. And the reason why these storms are taking off in the river valley right now is because they're riding along that cold front. They're riding along that boundary that's over the river valley right now, just to south of Interstate 40. And they're able to enhance that level spin in the atmosphere right now. So let's take a look at that normalized rotation. Definitely lines up with that velocity image that we just looked at. Base reflectivity also lines up with that area of rotation. Let's just see if there's any tornado debris signature. No tornado debris signature on the storm, so that's a good sign. But a TVS is on that storm. That means it's a tornado vortex signature, and that means there is an area of strong rotation that's going on there near the Stigler area. So, again, the most pressing thunderstorm, Perry, that we're watching right now is not in our weather coverage area yet, but it is taking aim at the weather coverage area. And that's why we're on right now, because we need to keep an eye on it, because within the next 30 minutes, it could be impacting LaFleur County. And if it keeps taking that easterly track, it could be aiming towards areas of Sebastian County as well. Looks like we got Denton on the live stream as well right now. Denton does a fantastic job helping us in the background, kind of showing things off and kind of adjusting our graphics and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep keeping an eye on what Denton's doing right now. We're going to pull up his screen right now, see what he's looking at here. It looks like he's looking at the same thing we are right now on radar with that tornado warned storm. I'm going to pull him up full screen here. Denton, there it is right there. So there's Cam 2 solo. So, so Denton's looking at the same thing we are right now. You can see that tornado warned storm. You can also see the severe thunderstorm warning in Washington County right now on his screen as well. He's putting that into motion there as well. Man, that storm that has the tornado warning is really rotating.
It is. And what's wild to me is just what you were highlighting earlier, that it's going over the same area, moving slowly now. And if folks are in the Northwest Arkansas area, they're saying, oh, yeah, I'm seeing rain, I'm seeing the thunder. Obviously, what's zoomed in right now isn't what you're seeing. And this, unfortunately, is what we're watching. So I guess good news if you're in Northwest Arkansas, in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, you're not seeing what was really concerning us right now.
Yeah.
But the River Valley might see it soon, and that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back here to my view real quick, because I see a few folks that are talking about what's going on in Rogers, anything tornado-wise. Nothing tornado-wise in Northwest Arkansas.
Right.
So if you're along and north of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, if you're in Rogers or Bentonville or these areas, these are just I call them garden variety severe thunderstorms. You never want to discount a severe thunderstorm, but what you mean by that is they're going to cause quarter-sized hail. They may cause some strong winds up to 60 miles per hour, but otherwise they're probably not going to get a whole lot stronger, because they're away from that main piece of energy, which is off to our south. They're away from that boundary. We're north of the boundary right now, which means that we don't have the deeper low-level moisture in place. But I talked about this morning too, Perry, extensively. We did have a lot of deeper low-level moisture in the river valley. You can see that the temperatures were in the lower to middle 70s this morning. The dew points were in the lower 70s. So that area right there is going to be favored for more of that significant severe weather potential. All right. Todd has a good point right here. We do need to track this. So I'm going to go ahead and make that fresh storm track right here. We're going to track both the thunderstorm that's moving through Northwest Arkansas and also the storm that is moving into the river valley as well. So we've got live Doppler radar pulled up here. There's a look at all those showers and storms across our area. Again, severe thunderstorm warning. That looks like that's the radio right now. So that's going to be the severe thunderstorm warning that was just now issued for portions of Crawford County, and that's just now pulled up here on our graphic system. So I'm going to pull that up right now. We're going to take a look at that severe thunderstorm warning, and we'll put a track on this as well. Yeah, I can hear you, Patrick. Thank you. So there's that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that's for Crawford, Franklin, Madison, and Washington County. This is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, and the hail is around nickel-sized right now. So hail is below severe limits, and this storm is tracking off to the east-southeast. I'm going to make sure we've got the correct storm motion on that as well. So it looks like that storm is moving east at 45 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to briefly take off that severe thunderstorm warning label so we can look at that a little bit closer. We're going to go ahead and make that storm track right now. So this storm, again, moving off to the east at about 45 miles per hour, moving through Madison County right now. And if we move that to the right for an hour, You can see that storm will be arriving right over Sunset right now. So if you're in Sunset, you're already being impacted by heavy rainfall. But a little bit farther east towards Madison County, St. Paul, within the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, you're going to be impacted by the severe thunderstorm Pettigrew, 10:28 a.m., 10:32 a.m. in the Boston area, 10:49 a.m. in Walnut, and 10:54 a.m. in Murray. So that's a little bit farther east from Madison County, but still keeping an eye on that thunderstorm as it progresses towards Newton County later on. But again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Hail is below severe limits. And again, that storm is moving off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So we'll keep an eye on that one. There's a look at that severe thunderstorm warning again. You can see the information there for Crawford, Franklin, Madison, and Washington counties. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're also going to make a storm track on the thunderstorms that are going on off to the southeast of our weather coverage area, because I want to make sure we get a storm track on this thunderstorm too that's going on in portions of the river valley. So we're going to go ahead and take off that storm track there. We're going to go to the southeast here. Here's that tornado warning, man. That storm is looking nasty right now there on live Doppler radar. There's that tornado warning. Again, this is not in our weather coverage area right now, but that tornado warning is in effect until 10:15 a.m. Just to the west of Lafleur County. So that includes Haskell County, Pittsburgh County, Latimer County, and that storm is moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour. So this storm is a lot slower than the one that's going on in northwest Arkansas. So we're going to adjust our storm track on it. Again, it's moving to the east. If it takes that easterly track, it's going to have favorable tornado potential. Look how quickly that storm ramped up over time. So it's taking a track off to the east right now towards Lafleur County. We're going to actually take an extended track here because we want to make sure folks in the River Valley know when the storm's going to arrive. So in our weather coverage area, this should be knocking on McCurtain's doorstep within the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. So 10:24 a.m. in McCurtain, that's about 20 minutes from now in the McCurtain area. And then at 10:58 a.m., Panama as well in Lafleur County, you're going to be impacted by the storm. So within the next hour, we're going to start seeing if that storm is going to be moving towards Lafleur County in the Panama area. Of course, a little bit later on, around 11:22, 11:32 a.m. in Poto. Currently, with the track of that storm, the area of circulation might go to the north of Poto, but a lot of time for those storms to adjust their track. So you need to be keeping an eye on this if you're in the Poto area. And then we have a question about Greenwood right here. And that's why I made the track a little bit longer for you, Denise. 11:46 a.m. in the Greenwood area. So if the storm remains at 30 miles per hour, Perry, it's going to take a couple of hours for it to arrive in the Greenwood area in western portions of northwest Arkansas.
And we know that's affecting y'all because, for example, I see Gloria commenting here that you have an appointment in Greenwood around noon. Yeah, this is a good place for you to be to continue following along and tracking this with us because, I mean, currently, if we're looking at these projections, 15 minutes before your noon appointment, that could, we could see that follow this track. Of course, this far out too, Josh, we have to say, like, this could alter its course.
Yeah, it could.
This far out over the next couple hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to wane. It's going to strengthen. It's going to weaken. It's going to do all of those things over the next several hours. So we just got to keep an eye on it. The good news is so far there's no confirmation that there's a tornado on the ground with this storm. So that's good.
Yeah. None of the debris that we could see with that other product that shows it with the pink specks we saw just last week. Yeah.
And that's a great product that we have. That's called our tornado detection product, Perry. And it shows it with, if you see a big white dot, right, that's with greater than 95% confidence, almost 100% confidence, because nothing's ever 100%, but with almost 100% confidence that there's a debris that's being lofted on radar there. And that's usually a detection that there's a tornado on the ground. Now, here's the good news. The storm is kind of cycling right now, so it's weakened a little bit with its rotation. So you can see it's kind of very broad right now. It's still kind of hanging back. It's slowing down a little bit. You can see that rotation looked a whole lot more organized several minutes ago. The rotation right now is located along State Highway 31 in Oklahoma. So that's where our broad rotation is located right now. Again, this is not in our weather coverage area quite yet, but it's tracking towards portions of Lafleur County. So a lot of folks asking about specific locations in the River Valley. I'll say this right now. For the Fort Smith area, there currently is some strong thunderstorms that are moving through Fort Smith, but I think the bulk of the tornado potential, at least with this initial round, is going to be south of Interstate 40. So if you're watching in Fort Smith, You're watching in Rudy. You might be worried about these storms. It'll probably get loud later this morning, right around lunchtime. No doubt about it. But in terms of tornado potential, that looks to be south of Fort Smith. So we're talking LaFleur County. We're talking the Greenwood area. We've been talking about that extensively. Logan County, Scott County, these locations, you need to be keeping an eye on the storm that's moving through. Now, we also don't want to get too caught up in what's going on there right now because it's not in our weather coverage area quite yet. We want to talk about that severe thunderstorm that's moving through Madison County now. So we're jogging a little bit farther to the north again. We're getting some reports of small hail in Wayton, Carroll County. Deborah, you're asking about that. That storm is tracking towards Carroll County right now, as you can see there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Mega Doppler as well on our Weather One source so you can see the current time as well. So we're going to go back to Weather One here, and we're going to take a look at Mega Doppler. That way you have the time on the top of your screen. So it may take a little while for it to load. There's Mega Doppler right there. So current time, 10 o'clock a.m. There's that new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect that we just talked about. That severe thunderstorm warning goes until 10:45 a.m. That does include southern Madison County. We've also got northeastern Crawford County, southeastern Washington County included in that, as well as northwestern Franklin County. And again, that storm is tracking off to the east right now. So if you live in southern Carroll County, around these areas here, Swain, Limestone, Deer, you will be impacted by the severe thunderstorm later on this morning, within the next hour or so. So just make sure you're staying weather aware there. I'm going to go through some of our WeatherBug Network cameras here, Perry.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and see what's going on with some of these thunderstorms. So let's go ahead and look at our Mountainburg camera. So there's Mountainburg right now near Lake Fort Smith. Obviously, a lot of heavy rainfall.
The rain moving across the camera. Yeah.
A lot of heavy rainfall going on there, and there's some strong winds as well. That's back behind the main severe thunderstorm warning, so obviously not going to see a whole lot there. Let's go to our Graduate Hotel camera here. There's a look at the backside of that thunderstorm. We can actually turn that camera to the east here and take a look at that a little bit closer. So that's what I'm going to do here. We're going to tilt that camera to the east here, and let's see what we've got going on. Unfortunately, if we tilt it to the east, the tower's going to be in the way. But, yeah, there's the backside of the storm right there. So let's go to the Huntsville camera right now. Huntsville might have the best view of the storm that we're going to get for right now. And I think Huntsville's actually down, unfortunately. Always figures that our cameras are going to be down. The camera that we absolutely want to see is going to be down. So Huntsville obviously down. Unfortunately, we just don't have a whole lot of cameras there. We can use this Mount Magazine camera, but here's the deal that I noticed with these storms this morning, Perry. Very low-hanging clouds right now. Yeah. Very low-hanging clouds. So it's kind of a struggle to see through all that. So, all right. So a brand new watch was just issued from the National Weather Service. It looks like a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for portions of Crawford County and Franklin County. So that's in the portions of the River Valley. We're going to pull that up once it comes into our WSI system. But looks like a new severe thunderstorm watch was just issued for portions of the River Valley, and we'll take a look at that in just a minute. So, Billy, we will look at iDrive, but problem is that the cameras that we want to look at are going to be located, in Madison County right now. Unfortunately, they don't have a whole lot of iDrive cameras in Madison County, so we can't get a good look at this thunderstorm.
We do have an accident over in Washington County where the rain is falling now.
Okay.
Near the Fayetteville area.
Okay, that's a good mention right there. So I can actually pull up a camera here on Weather 3. If they have a video of that accident, we can take a look at it. Yep, we do have it. So do you know if that's multiple vehicle or not, Perry?
Let me see what the report from Actis says. Give me 1
Okay,
moment.
yeah. So Perry's going to pull that up. I'm going to pull up a look at that accident. So this is along Interstate 49. Right now, it looks like the Arkansas Department of Transportation is adjusting that camera.
This is in Section 28, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah. We got no injury. Good news. No hazmat, not a commercial motor vehicle. So far, at least, it looks like things are all right.
Yep. So we're watching that closely right there. There's a look at the accident. Looks like they moved that over to the side of the road right there.
But Josh, we were seeing this constantly throughout even our morning newscasts, even before things picked up like they are now, of folks just not necessarily respecting all the water that's on the road right now as they're getting about their day, heading to work. So just here's another reminder, right?
Yeah. So the wet roadways are going to continue to be a problem as we move throughout the rest of the morning hours. That's for sure. Okay, I see a comment here from Ryan talking about the tornado warning near Poto. And Ryan, we have been talking about that. We're going back and forth. Remember, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is actually in our weather coverage area right now.
Right.
So we have to cover both of these storms to make sure that people are okay and that people are aware in portions of Newton County, Carroll County, all those locations that are in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning. So we're going back and forth between both warnings. And I'm keeping an eye on this storm. I promise you, I'm keeping an eye on this storm. I'm going to let you know when it's starting to move into our area. But here's the good news, Ryan. The good news is this storm is starting to weaken a little bit. You can definitely see that the area of circulation has fallen apart just a little bit over the last several scans. It was a lot tighter when it was moving near Quinton. And now this storm is starting to become a little bit more broad in terms of over our rotation. So we're keeping an eye on it in Poto. We did a storm track in Poto. We can go back to that as well right now and show you that we did cover that storm in Poto just a few moments ago. But we'll go back to that storm track, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out of view here. We're going to move over to the Fort Smith radar. We'll go back to that tornado warning. Again, that tornado warning goes until 10:15 a.m., so about 11 more minutes on that tornado warning. I'm going to go here to our storm track here. Again, it's moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. So we're going to make an extended track because I know a lot of folks are in the path of this storm. And we're going to go along about 2 hours here. And again, the current track of the rotation, Ryan, is just off to the north of Poto. So to put your mind at ease just a little bit in the Poto area, right now, based on the track of the storm, it's moving off just to the north of the Poto area. But it's moving east at 30 miles per hour. It will be impacting McCurtain, which is just outside of our weather coverage area within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Panama at 10:57 a.m., Cameron at 11:13 a.m., Hackett at 11:27, the Greenwood area. I know some folks watching the Greenwood at 11:45, and Washburn at 12:03. So we're keeping an eye on this storm. The rotation is weakening just a little bit, but we're not going to drop off of it. We're going to continue to keep an eye on it. But the good news, Perry, with that storm is it is beginning to weaken just a little bit, and hopefully that trend continues.
And that's a relief. Yeah. I think a lot of people who are just tuning in now, the reason we're looking at this storm, you may be saying, okay, well, I'm in Northwest Arkansas and I'm seeing a storm right now that's pretty significant. The reason is that's not really as threatening as the storm that we're seeing off to our west right now.
Yes.
And so that's why we're tracking two different things. The one to the north, really just at this point, Josh, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just what you'd imagine, heavy rainfall, winds, possible hail. Right.
Yes.
But in terms of potential tornadic activity, what we're watching is this southern storm, and that's why we're on this now.
Exactly. Right. And we're going back and forth between each of them. I know everybody wants to know what's going on in their specific location. I will say this. If you live in Northwest Arkansas along the I-49 corridor, at least for now, the severe weather potential is done for the rest of the morning. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Mega Doppler here. We're going to go zoom out. If you live in Bentonville and Fayetteville, if you live a little farther south towards Winslow, even Siloam Springs, these areas right here, the severe weather potential, at least for right now, in the short term, is over. We will have additional thunderstorms coming up this afternoon. And Kelsey, I am going to go over the future forecast. I just want to make sure we keep an eye on this tornado warning. I don't want to drop off of that tornado warning. I want to keep an eye on it. So once that tornado warning expires, as long as it expires within the next 5 minutes, Kelsey, I promise you I will go through a future track. So we will do that. But at least in the short term, through lunchtime, through about 1 to 2 o'clock, the severe weather potential is pretty much done for Benton and Washington County. Now, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect around the St. Paul area in Madison County. You're getting some very heavy rainfall there right now. That severe thunderstorm warning will continue until 10:45 a.m. So we're keeping an eye on that. Winslow, the storm has passed you. If you live near the Swain area, Jasper, need to be keeping an eye on these storms. They will be arriving within the next 10 to 15 minutes. They're booking it to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So, again, this is the only severe thunderstorm warning that's in our weather coverage area right now. And that storm is going to continue to progress off to the east as we go throughout the next several hours.
And good news on the power outage front. I mean, we've been monitoring this. Keep in mind, we're on about a 15-minute delay with these, but it does look like those numbers haven't really shifted in terms of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley in terms of what power outages we're seeing. Just about 50 in Washington County, 50-ish in Crawford County. Again, 15 minutes lagging behind, but for those of you watching that as well, so far, so good.
Yeah, so far, so good in those areas. Got a question here about Talhina, which is a little bit farther south here. So you're good right now. Tornado warning is well north of your area, but keep an eye on these storms that are going to try to move through a little bit farther to the south. Yeah, those severe thunderstorm warnings have considerable tags attached to them. Looks like those storms might be moving off a little bit more to the southeast. So we'll keep an eye on the Talhina area for you. But right now, I think most of the thunderstorms that are severe right now are north of you. So I think you're good if you're in the Talhina area right now. Tornado warning is well off to the north of you. Lots of lightning in Compton. Okay, thank you so much, Robin, for the report there. And let's take a look at all that lightning right now. You're going to see an explosion of lightning here on Mega Doppler. Look at all that lightning going on with those storms. Yeah, so highly electrified storms right now. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. And you can see all that lightning that's going on near Winter, Japton. Man, this storm that's near Kingston right now, you're just talking about Compton. There's Compton right there, northeast of Ponca. I think this might become severe warned pretty soon. There's some hail that's starting to develop there. Let's take a look at the winds. Little area, maybe a broad rotation that's developing near Ponca. We need to keep an eye on this storm right here. Sometimes these storms can ebb and flow in their intensity, but maybe a little area of rotation that's trying to show up west of Ponca. So if you live in Compton, keep an eye on the storm that's going on right now. I would guess there might be a severe thunderstorm warning issued pretty soon. That looks like nearly quarter-sized hail that's going on southwest of Compton, to the west of Ponca as well. So let's keep an eye on that storm there that's moving now towards portions of Newton County and Jasper. When will the storms move into Johnson County? So Johnson County, right now, the majority of the thunderstorms that are severe look like they're going to be north of you. So I think in Johnson County, the severe thunderstorm might move to the north of you. There is another thunderstorm that's trying to move in right now, just to the south there. But that storm is below severe limits. So there might be a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Johnson County, but I don't think we're going to see significant severe weather in those areas. Okay.
Now, will that second system, the one we're monitoring west in Oklahoma, will that affect that area as it rolls through?
Yeah, I think it will be just to the south of Johnson County.
Okay.
We'll see the track of it, but we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just now issued. So we had some viewers in Poto that were asking about this, and here we go. Severe thunderstorm warning just now issued for LaFleur County. Now, the severe thunderstorm warning does not include Poto right now, but it is in LaFleur County. It's for 70-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar-sized hail. So that severe thunderstorm warning has a considerable tag attached to it. Considerable meaning that it could cause considerable damage based on the latest trends. So we're going to take a look at that severe thunderstorm warning right now. I'm going to go back to Weather 1. And here's the deal, Perry. Here's the deal about severe thunderstorm warnings. Sometimes these severe thunderstorm warnings can have these tags attached to them. These tags are a tornado possible tag, right? So there's no tornado warning on it, right, Ryan? They dropped off the tornado warning, right? But there is a tornado possible tag attached to it. So this severe thunderstorm warning, again, has been issued for 70-mile-per-hour winds, half-dollar-sized hail, and it goes until 11 o'clock a.m. So that includes western LaFleur County. Let's take a look at the speed. It might have sped up a little bit. I wouldn't doubt it. No, it's still moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour. So still quite the slow mover right now there near the Poto area. But let's go ahead and make a fresh storm track on that storm. So, Perry, what we're going to do here is we're going to keep an eye on this because there's new severe thunderstorm warning just now issued for northwest Arkansas. So we'll look at that in just a minute. But before we get to that, let's take a look at that severe thunderstorm warning. What I'm going to do here actually is I'm going to make this into a line because those damaging winds are going to impact a larger area than the area of rotation. So we're going to make a line here, and Poto will be impacted by this as long as it continues to move off to the east. So there's a look at that fresh storm track.
Yeah.
And you can see that the Poto area is going to be impacted right around 11:09 a.m. So Panama, we talked about that, 10:43 a.m. Robert S. Kerr Carr Airport at 11:15 a.m., Greenwood at 11:30, and Charleston at 11:58 a.m.
And it's something to think about, too, is even if we don't see tornadic activity or along this path, basic things like if you have a glass table outside, maybe just move it in. Because if we are seeing hailstones this large, if we're seeing wind damage, I mean, this is the kind of thing that even non-tornadic activity could cause damage to your personal property and stuff. So just keep that in mind too as we're following this track. If you have a moment now, you're in Poto maybe, this hasn't really hit you in earnest yet, just go ahead and take those like basic level of precautions.
Yeah, absolutely. I would highly recommend that for sure because, I always talk about these severe thunderstorm warnings, right? Even I did this when I was, younger and stuff like that, right? I would say, oh, severe thunderstorm warning, it's not that big
And
of a
whatever,
deal.
lightning never hurt me.
Well, exactly, right? But severe thunderstorms can cause just as much damage, if not more damage, in the tornado because it covers a wider area, right? So if you live in these areas that are in the track of the storm, this has a considerable tag attached to it. It means it could cause considerable damage. Usually those tags are used for storms that can cause greater damage than a normal severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in the path of the storm, even in the Greenwood area, I know the storm's still about an hour and a half away, you need to be keeping an eye on this. And in Poto, you definitely need to start taking your severe thunderstorm precautions. So here's a look at the new severe thunderstorm warning that was just now issued. Looks like that just now came up. So that's going to be pulled up here. And there it is right there, right on schedule for Newton County. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Called it right there for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail near Jasper and near Compton as well. So I know we got a viewer in Compton as well that's keeping an eye on it. And there it is right there. Actually, our boy Denton putting on the scroll on the bottom of the screen. You can see that severe thunderstorm warning right there that was just now issued. So thank you, Denton, for doing that. And there was another severe thunderstorm warning that was issued here. So northern Johnson County is included in the severe thunderstorm warning, but the bulk of the stronger storms are moving to the north of Johnson County.
Got it.
So there's that new severe thunderstorm warning that does include Johnson, Newton, and Pope County. And that will go until 11 o'clock a.m. as well. So both of these severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect until 11 o'clock a.m. For Newton County and our weather coverage area, as well as southern Boone County. So Western Grove, I know we've got some viewers in Western Grove. Keep an eye on this storm. It is strengthening quite a bit as it moves off to the north and east. Let's take a look at the hail situation with that storm. I'm interested to see that here because the hail was definitely ramping up. Certainly when the hail starts to ramp up, that's a sign that the storm is strengthening just a bit. So let's go ahead and take a look at that hail real quick here. So we're going to go back to Mega Doppler here. We're going to take off the lightning. And right now, quarter-sized hail just off to the west of Ponca. So if you guys are getting any reports of hail, you're seeing hail at your house, let us know in the comments. Or you can send us videos. You can send the video to weather@knwa.com.
Yeah.
You can also send that in through the Weather Authority app. We'd love to see those videos. But if you're seeing anything right now, let me know in the comments section. But definitely some quarter-sized hail that's going on there near Compton. Let's take a look at that Gaither Mountain camera. That's a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. We can pull that up directly from our StreamYard source right now. So just stand by for 1 second here as I pull that up. And we'll take a look at that Gaither Mountain camera right now. So here's our Gaither Mountain camera. That is facing off to the west, so I need to adjust that. So stand by. Sometimes, though, even if we adjust them, we can't see it because there might be a tower in the way, so just keep that in mind. But I do want to face this off to the south. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see anything if I tilt it any more to the south because there's a tower in the way. There's a look at some of those storms. This is a southeast view right now. We're taking a look at the base of that storm. Highly elevated storms that are moving through northwest Arkansas right now. What I mean by highly elevated is I mean that these storms are not really going to be favoring tornado potential. They're going to be producing more hail and wind because the base of the clouds are really high up. But definitely some what we call SLCs, scary looking clouds going on over the Harrison camera, right? They look low, they look really threatening, but they're not going to produce tornadic activity.
And honestly, I could understand if you're in the northwest Arkansas area right now, why you might feel a little spooked, especially given everything that's been going on. Like I'm looking at our MLK Junior Drive, exit 62 on 49 near that accident. Still reported, by the way, still in that area on 49. That tower camera is shaking. I mean, it tells you just how strong, even if this isn't really necessarily getting severe in your area, just, what people are seeing and feeling right now. And Josh, reasonably so, because we've been talking too, even if it just rains at this point with enough wind, the ground is getting so damp, right?
Yeah.
It's weakening a lot of the soil. It's getting leading to potential for flooding, but also leading for potential for a strong wind to blow over a tree, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm concerned about, especially as we go throughout the rest of this week too, because it's not the end of the severe weather potential.
No.
We're not even halfway through it.
No.
To be perfectly honest. So we got multiple days of severe weather coming up. The ground is going to be weakened. The soil, the root systems are going to be weakened with all the rain that's coming through over the next several days. And as we progress throughout the rest of this week, not only do we have to worry about severe weather potential, we also have to worry about flash flooding and, like you said, even more damage potential over our weather coverage area. So there's a look at that severe thunderstorm warning once again. I see some comments asking about Van Buren. Right now, Van Buren is just off to the north of the most significant severe thunderstorm. But the leading edge of that storm is starting to move into Lafleur County. What I'm interested in seeing here is if these cameras that are located over Fort Smith are showing any, base of that storm. I have them facing off to the southwest. So let's take a look at the public library camera. So kind of hard to tell there. And it is really far away. So it's going to be hard to tell.
It doesn't look like it's quite hit the area in earnest yet.
Yeah.
It's looming over the west.
Yeah. One camera that we might be able to look at on iDrive Arkansas is there's one camera that's on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, just off to the northwest of White Bluff. But it's just too far away. One other thing that's going to be a struggle today when we're viewing these cameras is that, especially in the River Valley, it is very humid right now. There's a lot of haze, and the contrast is not the best. So it makes things very difficult to see. So Fort Smith, right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings, but probably going to get loud within the next hour or so. That is for sure. So we'll keep a close eye on that. I'm going to go back here to Weather 1. I'm going to take a look at Howell Heat and Cooling Mega Doppler again.
Has that storm off to the west picked up any speed as it's been approaching, or is it still kind of still ruminating in that area, going a bit slower?
Yeah, it's still kind of meandering right now. It's still moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. It's a lot slower than the storms to the north because it's along a boundary.
Mm.
So basically what I could do here is I'm going to take a wider view here. We're going to go to satellite and radar here. I'm going to show you what I mean right here by that. And this is going to be a perfect illustration on the storms later today too. So there's that severe thunderstorm watch, by the way. I'm going to look at that in just a minute. But basically, I'm going to give you a rough outline of where that boundary is right now. So basically at this time, and that's not the correct direction. So,
by the way, as we figure this out, Michelle, I feel you. Where's the off button? We've been trying to find it, and we'll let you know if we manage to.
Oh, no kidding. Like I'm just so over this right now, and I like the weather a lot, but I'm just so over this. So here's where the boundary is right now. So we've got this boundary that's draped right here. It's pretty much right there. It's actually more toward the northeast, but you got a general idea of where it is. And basically what's going to happen is, as we move throughout the rest of the day today, is that the storms north of the boundary will have the potential to be severe. Mm-hmm. But this boundary is keeping the low-level moisture from surging all the way to the north, right? Mm-hmm. So these storms are going to be more elevated. Thus, they're going to have more of a hail and gusty wind threat. Notice how these storms to the south, you see these brown boxes right here, Perry?
Yeah.
These are severe thunderstorms with considerable tags. These thunderstorms have a tendency to be more surface-based, and they have the threat to produce all hazards, including tornadoes, because the deeper low-level moisture is here. And you saw that tornado warning that went on with that storm earlier, right? What was happening is the storm was right on the boundary to the south.
Oh, okay.
So it was rotating rapidly. It was intensifying. But now I think the area of rotation has gotten just to the north of that boundary. So now the area of rotation has kind of broadened and weakened.
It's kind of split almost.
Yes. And now it's becoming more of a hail and wind threat. And we hope that continues as it progresses off to the east. If it starts moving back to the southeast and gets back into this boundary, then it could cause some problems again. But now I think it's starting to lift to the north of that boundary. Now, this thunderstorm does need to be watched too, but that one looks like it's moving off to the southeast. So I know we have a viewer that lives in Talhena. Uh-huh. Keep an eye on this storm. Right now, it's moving away from Talhena, but it could move off to the east if that boundary starts moving to the south. So that's kind of a general idea of what we're working with today. And that's why if we go to the Storm Prediction Center's risk, I was talking about this morning on the show. That's why the enhanced risk of severe weather is located over Scott and Lafleur County because of the position of that warm front, right? So this warm front according to the National Weather Service office, is going to stay right here in these areas. And that's why those storms will be more intense a little bit farther south. But Northwest Arkansas also included in a marginal and slight risk of severe weather for mainly hail and damaging winds. And you'll see that reflected here on each individual risk. Here's the hail risk. Again, significant hail possible in the river valley over 2 inches in diameter. Damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour possible as well. And then there's that low end tornado threat, again, maximized south of that warm front in the river valley. And it looks like they've actually chopped off the tornado risk a little bit for Northwest Arkansas. So there is still the potential for these storms to rotate a little bit in NWA, but not as much as what's going on in the river valley.
Is it safe to say at this point, if you're in the NWA, the severe threat, the things that you should really potentially be concerned about is over at this point, just a flooding potential and winds, but beyond that?
So for portions of Northwest Arkansas, yes.
Okay.
In the short term. So if you live in Benton and Washington County, there's more rain that's coming up, but these storms are likely not to be severe. They might produce some gusty winds and small hail. But through 12 o'clock p.m., Perry, I would say that these storms are probably not going to be as severe as what we're seeing right now in the river valley.
Sure.
However, later on today, there is the potential for those storms to get a little bit stronger in Northwest Arkansas again as additional pieces of energy move through. And we'll show future track in just a minute. I wanted to give one last radar tour for folks who are just now joining. But that's a good question. If you live in Benton and Washington County, the severe potential has gone down, and it will be down through about 1 to 2 o'clock p.m., but additional showers and storms will be possible.
Okay.
Now, if you live in Newton County, Boone County, Johnson County right now, storms are still severe. So still some severe thunderstorm warnings in Northwest Arkansas right now along this line. And we're keeping a close eye on that. And here we go, Perry. This is going to be the start of a lot of flood advisories. Yeah. Flood advisory just now issued for Sequoia County.
Okay.
And we're expecting a lot more of that to be issued over the next several days. But these are the most pressing thunderstorms in Northwest Arkansas right now. Again, Compton, you're getting some big-time storms. Here we go. Great report from Jane in Newton County, getting some lightning and thunder rolling in Newton County. Mm-hmm. Western Grove, Alexis, if you're watching this, Alexis, she's a dedicated viewer.
Nice.
She watches right on the fringes of our weather coverage area in Newton County. Western Grove, get ready. You're going to be having some severe thunderstorms pretty soon. Not tornadic, but hail and wind, certainly a possibility with those storms. So be keeping a close eye on that. Nothing tornadic at all. Nothing that I see there that's pressing, but definitely some wind and some hail that's possible. Let's take a look at that hail situation again. So the hail's died down a little bit, about nickel-sized at most.
Okay.
Dime-sized falling. So that's a sign that the storm might be weakening a little bit. So we hope that continues. And you can see as that storm was evolving, it was a little bit stronger in terms of that hail. See how those?
Oh yeah, look at the size there.
Yeah, those darker colors were showing up, and now it's starting to kind of fall apart. So
the different shades meaning the different sizes.
Exactly. Yeah. So that light blue shaded area is about dime-sized hail right there. But here we go. Severe thunderstorm warning with the considerable tag still in effect for LaFleur County. This is the strongest thunderstorms. And if we take a look at storm relative velocity, this severe thunderstorm warning does have a tornado possible tag attached to it, but there's not really a whole lot of rotation going on. Yeah. And here's the reason. I think the reason why is because that storm is north of the warm front now. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And we hope that continues, because if it stays north of the warm front, that considerable tag's not going to last very much longer either.
Well, we saw those warnings off to our west, and we were
right on cue. Considerable tag dropped off.
There it is.
I said the considerable tag probably was going to be dropped off on it, and bam, right there, they dropped the considerable tag. So still a severe thunderstorm warning.
Right.
460-mile-per-hour winds, and let's see what the hail is located. What we're talking about with hail, quarter-sized hail. Okay. So now this storm is weakening. So that's a great sign. So I know we had a viewer in Poto that was talking about this storm. It's weakening. It's actually lifting off to the northwest of you. And I think this storm is beginning to die down just a little bit. So great sign right there. So yeah. Perry, sorry I interrupted you. I just wanted to mention that real quick.
That we were just getting into the same thing of it's very nice that we've been getting this breakdown as we've been going into our coverage area, because we were concerned, especially as it was looking over to our west in Oklahoma, seeing those warnings touch down, seeing it spin over the same area so much, a relief really to see as it tracks into our area that it is breaking up.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely something we want to see right there. That's a blessing for sure.
Can't be ignored still. The wind speeds the rain, the hail, that can still cause damage.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
But
still on the southern end of the storm too, maybe a little rotation showing up near Red Oak. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's nothing major.
Yeah.
But just something to keep an eye on because that might still be south of the boundary. So if they're south of the boundary, they're going to have the potential to rotate a little bit more. And we'll have to keep an eye on that. But right now, so just a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size tail on that storm that's just off to the west of Poto. There's Alexis right there. Alexis from Western Grove. I need to go to Harrison today. I need these storms to go away. Get them out of here.
With that. Yeah.
Get them out of here. Get them out of here for Alexis. Alexis, you do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for your area. You've probably been watching throughout this whole thing, but just want to let you know, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Western Grove. That storm's moving off to the northeast. You're going to get some heavy rain. You're probably going to get some gusty winds at the least. Probably get some small hail, but you're not going to have a tornado. So that's some good stuff right there. RL says, I have a friend in eastern Oklahoma near Arkansas, and she just sent me a video, and it was pouring hard. Yeah, absolutely.
Feel free to share. Yeah,
absolutely. Send in those videos and stuff like that. We'd love to take a look at what's going on. But here's the deal, Perry. Severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for our area.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm going to do. I know some folks want to know about the future.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and look at some of the future radar and look at what we got coming up for the rest of the day today.
Because it's not today, tonight, tomorrow. I mean, we really are still in for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a look at the latest HRRR. This is a high resolution rapid refresh model. And we're going to take a look at what's going on with it. So doing a good job of what's going on right now, which is better than it typically does. Mm-hmm. Usually it can't even get what's going on right now right. So, hey, at least it's getting something right.
I think you're selling yourself short.
Yeah, it's getting something right there, this model is. We move a little bit along in time. So this model indicating that these storms will continue to weaken as they move off to the east, which makes sense. Instability is getting sapped right now. So the fuel for thunderstorm development is getting sapped. But notice, man, we got a good area of clearing coming up this afternoon.
That'll be so nice, Josh.
Yeah, we don't want to see that, though.
Oh, that's not a good thing. I hear clearing, and I think that's a good thing, but I'm not a meteorologist. Okay, fill me in. Why is that not good?
So here's the deal. We get this clearing, right? You get all this sunshine, right? And that heats up the surface.
Right.
And if you get that heating, that surface heating, that allows for the temperatures to recover. That allows for your atmosphere to recover. And that means that the storms that develop later today will have more fuel once again.
So is it almost better just to have that constant cloud coverage, not experience that heating up, so that you don't have that mixture, that volatility?
The best case scenario is to have just a big old blob of rain that moves through during the morning. The clouds and the ambience from the rain sticks around most of the day, and then you don't have any instability for the real event that comes in the afternoon. And check out what happens in the afternoon. Well, still no storms, but look at this. At 5:30, a supercell starting to develop in portions of the river valley in that enhanced risk area. And man, that's a pretty nasty looking storm. You know what? This model has dropped off a little bit though in terms of storm coverage. There's some storms developing in northwest Arkansas. Those will likely be more elevated.
Right over Fayetteville there.
Yep. And then they're kind of just gone. So the models have dropped off a little bit in terms of storm coverage, truthfully. There still is a nasty storm that's located in Waldron, Boonville, right around 6 o'clock p.m., but models dropped it off.
Well, and you were talking about the warming up, though. I mean, even if we go to the end of this future track model, we go into the late evening hours, those temperatures, man, they are still high.
Yeah.
And so it's like it just tees us up for yet another day tomorrow.
Yeah, and you know why they're getting so warm in northwest Arkansas? Because the warm front's lifting back to the north. So when the warm front lifts back to the north, your low-level moisture increases again. And that's why the severe weather potential will once again be higher in northwest Arkansas tomorrow than what it may be today. Because I know we're getting severe thunderstorm warnings in northwest Arkansas, but these are elevated thunderstorms, which is great.
Yeah.
I want them to stay elevated. But tomorrow they might tend to be more surface-based, which leads to the potential for tornado potential. Potential for tornado potential. Yeah. Increases your tornado potential. Yeah, you can tell I've been talking a lot today and over the last several days. So Amber wants to know more about what's going on Saturday and Sunday. So here's the deal, Amber. I want to talk about Saturday and Sunday too. I really do.
Yeah. Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I know. People are really, really looking forward to Memorial Day weekend. But Dan and I talked about this earlier. It's just so far out right now. It's just so far out. There is the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms Saturday night to Sunday. We know that. But it's just so far out to talk about details right now because these models just are going to go back and forth. They're going to go back and forth, back and forth. I'll tell you this, Perry. I don't know if I necessarily trust the HRRR, even though it's showing no storms this afternoon. Because guess what? It didn't show any storms for this morning in northwest Arkansas.
Right.
We've got severe thunderstorms
and then here
everywhere.
we are. Right.
Exactly. So I don't know.
And this is why y'all tuning in right now, joining us on Facebook, getting us, getting the latest updates. This is really the way to do it when something like this strikes. Because not only are you the most aware when things are happening, right? But but then you get the most up-to-date information instead of, I heard a couple of days ago, because things change so fast. I mean, even over the course of just this morning when we were having our newscast to now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're still in the show right there, Perry. The camera was like pointing right over towards you.
I don't know. How does this happen?
Yeah, it does that. So look, it's still pointing at you,
tracks.
Man. It tracks you. Yeah, it's supposed to, like, if I put my hand up, it's supposed to stay still, but sometimes it likes to move.
The latest tech, man.
The latest tech right there. But let's get back to Mega Doppler here real quick.
Yeah, they're tired of seeing all this.
Yeah. Woo! You don't want to see my eye bags, right? And everything like that. There's going to be a lot more where that came from.
Someone's about to get the Baja.
I love this. Brian, I'm about to go down to Taco Bell and get me a Baja Blast right there.
I think it's the first time I've experienced that on stream.
I know. Yeah, Perry, you're getting introduced to it. You can be a Baja Blast, bro. You're an official Baja Blast, bro.
I will take one after this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going to take one too. It might get me some quesadillas, some tacos as well. Maybe not be the best thing for my sore throat, though. I'm telling you, I've got a cold right now.
Yeah, how are you supposed to do the show tomorrow?
Yeah, I've got a cold.
Yo.
It's bad. It's bad. But let's take a look at that Mega Doppler again. I know a lot of folks want to know.
Things coming into Fort Smith, right?
Yeah, yep. So we've got some storms knocking on the doorstep of Fort Smith. Still got those severe thunderstorm warnings that are kind of in a line right now.
Yeah.
From Harrison to St. Paul to Yale towards northern Johnson County. Again, those severe thunderstorm warnings in general in effect until 11 o'clock a.m. So we got about another 25 minutes to go on these severe thunderstorm warnings. But for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail, though, last several scans, the hail's kind of dropped off, though. A little bit of hail starting to move towards the Swain area at this time, almost quarter-sized there. So keep an eye on that if you're living near Swain and Deer. In terms of rotation, no rotation. So, no big time, tornadic potential with these storms, just 60-mile-per-hour winds possible and quarter-sized hail. And it does look like those storms are, they're not line normal right now, so they're not going to be particularly intense, but still have to keep an eye on them. Western Grove are going to get it within the next few moments. In fact, let's go ahead and get a storm track on these storms as well. Yeah. So these storms moving on east at about 45 miles per hour. I'll go ahead and make a storm track on these. That way people can know where they're tracking. And then we'll make a storm track for the storms that are going on in the River Valley. So we're going to go ahead and take that River Valley track out of there. We're just doing some stuff behind the scenes right now.
Real quick, someone asking just a few minutes ago about Alma.
About Alma?
Yeah.
So Alma going to get some storms soon. It's going to get loud. But in terms of tornadic potential, right now, Alma's okay. And in terms of severe thunderstorms, it looks like the main severe thunderstorms will actually be south of Alma. So that's a good sign right there. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll get a storm track on that in just a few moments. So look at that strange line right there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So we're going to go to Weather 1 here. We're going to look at that next storm track. So there's the severe thunderstorms that are in a line in southern Boone, Newton County, and northern Johnson County. That storm going to be moving towards Limestone within the next 10 minutes or so. So Limestone, about to get some heavy rain, maybe get some hail, get some wind. 11:07 a.m. Yaleville, 11:25 a.m. Marshall, and 12:03 p.m. in Melbourne, which is way off to the east of our weather coverage area. But I know some folks still watch outside of our weather coverage area around the Mountain Home location. So if you live in Mountain Home, Melbourne, keep an eye on these storms. But this is about to move out of our weather coverage area, Perry. So within the next 30 minutes or so, that will be east of northwest Arkansas. Now, in terms of the other thunderstorm that we're watching, let's go to that. That's off to the southeast right now. That's in the River Valley. Man, that storm is weakening big time.
Yeah.
That is for sure. That's a good sign right there. That one is moving a little bit slower, though. That one's moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour. That's for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So if we make our storm track here, we're going to make it like this. We're going to adjust the time because it's moving a little bit slower. We're going to put this line right here. And if it stays its course to the east, I'm going to actually move it more east-northeast because it will have a tendency to do that. 10:52 Spyro, so within the next 10 minutes or so. 11:01 a.m. in Poto. I know some folks watching in Poto. 11:35 in Greenwood, so within less than an hour. 11:40 a.m. in West Hartford. 11:58 a.m. in Charleston. 12:20 a.m. in Boonville, and 12:33 p.m. in Paris. So that's a look at that severe thunderstorm warning. I'll tell you, Perry, if this storm continues its track, it will not be severe thunderstorm warning by the time it gets to Paris.
And that's great news. I know we were talking, we had some viewers talking about Greenwood in particular, maybe around the noon hour. And it looks like not only has that moved up a little bit in terms of the timeline, but maybe less severe now. So hopefully you can make it to your appointment. But this is good to see. We like to see weakening because as visually stunning as sometimes these storms can be, that doesn't mean the good things.
Yeah, man. Yesterday, the structure was just amazing out in Southwest Missouri. Thankfully, no tornadoes in Southwest Missouri, but the structure was incredible.
I think there's just so much, storm-related trauma, if you will, related to all of the storms we've had lately. And obviously, just the tragedy that occurred in Iowa just yesterday. So, everyone understandably pretty raw to this kind of thing. So to see a weakening is, a breath of fresh air.
It's good. And we want to see that for the rest of this week, too, because this is not the last of severe weather potential. We got more coming up this afternoon and evening. We've got more coming up throughout the afternoon and evening tomorrow. And tomorrow it could be more significant for Northwest Arkansas. Friday, still a risk of severe weather, but I think Friday is more marginal in terms of the severe weather threat. Yeah. But Saturday night and Sunday, more severe thunderstorms. And at the very least, see all this rain that's going on the radar right now? Yeah. Flash flooding is definitely a concern.
Well, especially we'll be in day 3 at that point.
Yeah.
Day 2 is just about to hit for a big portion of the river valley. So these things just add up, Josh.
It adds up over time, that's for sure. So here's the deal. We're gonna be keeping an eye on these storms. We will, as long as these don't strengthen, we're going to drop this off in about 15 minutes. Right. Obviously still some strong thunderstorms moving through the area, but at this time, in terms of significant severe weather potential, I think things are beginning to wind down, at least with this initial shot of thunderstorms. Again, we were on here because we had considerable thunderstorms that were not only moving through the area, but also tracking towards the area. We had that tornado warning that was in Eufaula, and that thing was spinning. That thing was going nuts. Yeah. And thankfully, thankfully it's weakening. It's becoming outflow dominant. We want that to continue. Betty reporting in from Hinesville. It's been raining and lightning off and on all morning. Thank you so much for that report, Betty. I know some folks might be wondering, hey, I live in Fayetteville. Why aren't you talking about Fayetteville? Well, that's because severe weather potential's over, at least until 3 to 4 o'clock. Yeah. Bentonville, done. Solid Springs, done. Still some heavy rain, though, moving through. Yeah. So if you're driving, take it nice and easy. Do we still have that accident that's going on iDrive right now?
We did. I think it's still. Let me refresh just to double check that iDrive has refreshed. Yeah, it's still ongoing, still marked. Remember, that was a no injury. So I'll just double check to make sure that hasn't somehow been updated.
Yeah.
But listen, injury or not in this case, this is just one more example. We saw even before things hit in earnest this morning, just so many accidents from people just navigating on wet roadways. That's really all it takes sometimes, Josh. And so hopefully, people are just being cautious. Yes, the worst has passed. Yes, there's no tornadic activity that we've seen in our area yet. But just, be smart out there.
I need to mention something here real quick. I know I always mention this all the time. I've mentioned this multiple times on the show, but I'm gonna say this right now. When it comes to rain on the roadways, I am speaking from personal experience, right? I hydroplaned and totaled my vehicle a couple of years ago because I was driving too fast on the roads. I was going the speed limit. So I was driving on I-49 near West Fork. I was going 70 miles an hour, and I hydroplaned and almost got myself killed because of it, right? My car flipped this way.
In traditional wisdom, you're thinking, I'm already going slower than I would because maybe I'd go over the speed limit, right?
Yeah.
So But still, that's wild.
And that's why I always say to go about 10 to 15 miles per hour below the speed limit, right? Because the faster you go, the more likely you are to hydroplane. And we see it every single morning, these single vehicle accidents, sometimes two vehicle accidents where two people are impacted, right? That just stack up, rack up. Unfortunately, we see injuries sometimes with those as well. Folks, you got to make sure you're taking it nice and easy on the roadways. I know these storms they're not the worst right now, but it doesn't take a whole lot to cause big problems. In fact, the initial little sprinkle and drizzle that you think is not a big deal, that can mix with the oil on the roadways, and that can cause really slick and hazardous conditions. So as we go throughout the coming days, we get more rain, we get more thunderstorms. Just make sure you're taking it nice and easy. And I know it's cliche to say, but when we've got flash flooding and you've got running water on the roadways, turn around, don't drown. You do not, it doesn't take a whole lot. It takes just a few inches of running water, about 6 inches, as a matter of fact, to sweep your car off the road. It doesn't matter if you have a lifted truck, or a small car, low profile vehicle, whatever. It's going to get swept away if you try to risk it on those areas that have running water.
And I've got a Jeep. It's got 4-wheel drive. I always sometimes maybe do things that I shouldn't in terms of getting through those waterways. And just over the course of being a part of this weather community and understanding just how dangerous that gets. I mean, it's easy to get bold.
It is.
Right? But just that one bold moment that's just too far.
Something you regret.
Is something, that you or someone else would regret, right? Because, I mean, that's not just about you at that point.
Yeah.
This is what blows me away. And not to get too preachy on this, y'all, but I mean, just this morning, we're seeing people, literally the water kicking up behind the cars, hitting the windshield of the car behind them. That's how closely people were following.
Yeah.
So that just gives you an idea what the chain reaction could look like.
It absolutely is the case. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning to report right now. I'm assuming this is not going to have a considerable tag attached to it, and it does not. This severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Leflore County, including the Poto area, for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Now, that storm right there that is located along Highway 59, moving off to the east-northeast, that one is a little bit stronger than the one to the north, but I think that is going to that's not going to be too bad. I don't think that's going to be too bad. So that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 11:30 a.m. for portions of Leflore County, again, for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. We'll go back here to Heil Heat and Cooling Mega Doppler to take a look at it. There's that second severe thunderstorm warning. Again, just off to the southwest of Poto now. So, hey, if you're living in the Poto area, about to get loud, about to get rainy, probably going to get windy, but in terms of tornadic potential, it's done. It's done. And the reason why it's done is because it's very outflow dominant and it's well north of the boundary now. Great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay on for about 5 more minutes. If anybody has any more questions, please ask them in the comments. Oh, look at this nice comment right here.
Yeah, how about that, Josh?
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, that was very nice right there.
Yeah, you don't need Weather Rate to tell you that.
Exactly.
We've got Alexis right and Elizabeth right here.
Yeah, exactly. I love it right there. I love it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sending that in right there. And hey, Perry now part of the Weather Authority team. Yeah. He's official Baja Blast bro now.
Oh my gosh, that's the initiation?
That's initiation right there. Yeah. Home.
Now,
home.
I got a comment here from Alexis earlier, and I said your name earlier. She says you're moving to Florida soon, and to escape all this. And I was like, I don't know how much of an escape.
We moved to Florida.
That is storm the whole time.
Wait,
yeah.
So Alexis, are you permanently moving out of Northwest Arkansas? Are you moving out of Western Grove permanently?
Oh, man.
I'm interested to know that because you're a Western Grove representative right here. She is literally on every single live stream.
Oh, nice.
Every single live stream from Western Grove. And we're always on top of things out in Western Grove. So let me know, Alexis.
Yeah.
That's kind of going to be bittersweet right there to see you move out to Florida.
Congratulations on the next step in your life.
Exactly. Florida, great state right there. A lot of beaches and
lots of severe weather.
Lots of severe weather. Yeah, that's for sure. You get it all there. Yeah. So I'm sure those folks down there will be keeping an eye on it.
Yeah. We got another question about Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
We observe some repetition.
So here's the deal about Saturday and Sunday. I'll go ahead and say this, right? We do have the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms Saturday, right? There's no doubt about it. But it's just a little bit too early to talk about specific details, if that makes sense, right? So we will have the potential for severe weather Saturday night and Sunday. I think mainly Saturday night and Sunday, but we'll fine tune those details as we get closer to that event, right? Mm-hmm. We'll get more high resolution data in as good as it will be. because the models are kind of bad.
That's why you watch a weather guy instead of the Apple,
Apple
forecasts
weather
or whatever.
Yeah, that garbage right there.
Yeah, it'll get you.
Yeah, but we'll keep an eye on Saturday into Sunday. Again, stay weather aware as we move throughout the rest of this week. We will have severe weather potential Saturday into Sunday. We'll get into more specific details about that as we get closer. But right now, just focusing on the short term. I'm Dan and Peyton and Zach will be here. They will do a weather live stream. I have no doubt about it. They'll have all the latest information for you. They'll keep you posted as more thunderstorms develop this afternoon. And again, if you live in the River Valley, you need to stay weather aware because those thunderstorms will tend to be a little bit stronger along and south of Interstate 40. Okay. So good question right there. We will have a live stream coming up later this afternoon.
Get to feel better. Thanks, Nikita. Hey, and thanks for engaging with our morning show. I recognize your name. You sent it in birthday photos, shout outs.
And the doggies.
And especially the doggies. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. I always love seeing them.
Yeah, we love seeing you guys engage.
Yes.
And, hey, Denise, I have something nice to say.
Oh, hey, yes. Josh, you've learned from the best. Learning from the best right there. The man, the myth, the legend. Dan Scoff right there. The original Baja Blast bro. We've got the swollest weather team in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, these guys, it's true.
Except for me.
Well,
I'm the SpongeBob of the group. I do runs, but
y'all are all way more athletic than I am.
If you guys are into SpongeBob, right, I'm just like that one meme, right, where he says, "Not too close, Sandy. I tend to get sweaty when I'm bumping iron. Check it out." And it's like a bone. Like his arm is just like a bone or whatever because he's like and stuff like that. So I'll let I do work out. I do bench. I do squat and stuff like that. But I do a lot of cardio. I do a lot of running. Right. So I promise you I do that. But I think Zach and Dan will.
Well, they're like they live there, man.
Yeah, they live there.
You go to the FAC most hours of the day. You'll run into Dan Scott.
I call Zach at 2:00 in the morning and he says he's working out.
I worked out with him. I couldn't keep up. Zach, oh my gosh.
Insane mode, man. Insane mode right there. I love it. Let's see
the
here.
only thing worse and more unreliable than models.
Yes.
Apple built-in weather app.
So GH, you're talking about Greenwood. They're not going to be too bad. There might be some strong thunderstorms moving through, but to kind of set your mind at ease, we'll go back to Mega Doppler just real quick here. This storm might not even have a severe thunderstorm warning pretty soon because it's weakening big time. So lightning, rain, wind, that's all going to be a possibility in Greenwood. But in terms of significant severe weather, not going to be the case in Greenwood. Now later today, keep an eye on the radar because there'll be more storms developing in Greenwood. But for the short term, you're going to get some rain, going to get some lightning, going to get some wind, maybe some hail, but nothing significant. So just to put your mind at ease with there. Absolutely, Daniel. Absolutely. I know. We got a lot of viewers out there in Newton County right now and watching it very closely. And again, we'll look at those thunderstorms one more time. Alexis. Yep, here we go. Western Grove, about to get some heavy rain, about to get some lightning. You might actually get the hail core that moves over you, Alexis. Let's take a look at the hail situation just real quick here. Maybe some dime-sized, nickel-sized hail possible near Western Grove. So it will get loud pretty soon, but I promise you it's nothing significant.
Hopefully you don't have a tin roof.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing crazy, nothing significant. Still got that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. SpongeBob talking about Dan. He was number one. Oh my!
I knew he'd see the SpongeBob reference.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's got the voice on deck too.
He was number one. Man. I can't do it. Tom Kenny, man. I don't know how he does it. I can't even. I can't.
Well,
do it
you're
right
sick
now.
right now.
I'm not going to try. But he taps his throat when he does it. He's been doing that for over 20 years, man.
Really?
That guy.
That's how he does the voice.
Yeah, he goes like that. Yeah, and I don't even know how he has a voice or a working throat right now. He's been doing that for over 20 years, man.
Yeah, those voice actors, I don't know how they keep up.
Yeah.
I can barely keep up my own voice.
Yeah. So Patrick, here again, you're talking about the SPC for this Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, okay.
And yes, the SPC is talking about a higher end event. Now, for Sunday, what they're talking about with the higher end event is actually a little bit farther east of our area. But we still have the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. So I understand the concerns about Saturday and Sunday. We're concerned about it as well. But what we're doing is we're just taking these one system at a time. Yeah. Because, you talk about it a lot of times on the morning show, Perry. It's like we're 4 to 5 days out. These things are just going to keep changing.
Yeah.
They're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And this is not predicting weather in San Diego or even Oregon. Like I've lived in a couple different markets where, these things were 4 or 5 days out, you could tell. You reasonably could get an idea. Not to say that there is no concern, but just, boy, things change so rapidly, and there's so much to focus on just in the next couple of days.
Hey, guess who's watching right now?
Who's that?
The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, Mike Susko.
Mike Susko.
No way.
All the way up from
Hey, Mike,
Pennsylvania.
how are you?
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know, former meteorologist with KNWA, really
Yeah.
great guy, really kind, really talented dude. So
And he's a chief now.
he's a chief meteorologist.
Chief.
Yes.
That's the first thing I told him when he got that chief job. I
Yeah?
was like, "What's up, chief?"
I bet he liked that.
Yeah, he did like that. Yeah, he's killing it up in Pennsylvania. Nice to see you, Mike. He just texted me right now. Just saw his text message.
That's great.
All right, here's the deal, guys. These storms are dying out over northwest Arkansas. Actually, they're starting to move out of northwest Arkansas. River Valley, they're dying out. The severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect, that was pointing towards Greenwood, has expired. Still a severe thunderstorm warning pointed towards Poto, but that storm's also starting to die out. One last look, no rotation. These are outflow dominant. These are just going to produce some heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe some small hail, and then it'll be out. But round number 2 coming up later on this afternoon. So just make sure you're staying weather aware. More thunderstorms coming up later on today. Dan, Peyton, Zach, they're going to have it covered this afternoon. They're going to keep you safe. What we're going to do is we're going to go home.
Get some sleep.
And we're going to sleep.
And
I'm gonna
What is
take-
that, John?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a lot of Tylenol because that's all I've been taking over the last
Good.
couple days.
Yeah, we'll need you tomorrow morning.
Dude, I'm
It's
serious. Like this,
Round 3.
this box had a ton of tissues in it, and it's almost done.
Nah,
It's almost done. So I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. I saw
burning
the,
through the budget.
I'm
here.
burning through the budget right now of like Kleenexes and stuff like that. A couple more comments here real quick. You guys need to try the Mountain Dew Baja Punch Tropical Punch.
That's so many words put together.
Bro, I just like it more because it has so
Baja
many
Punch,
words.
tropical punch.
Whoa. Yo, we're cooking right there, dude. We need to try that.
Listen, I like most of those words.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna have to try that. Dude,
Punch so nice you got to say it twice.
you gotta say it twice,
Yeah.
right? Taco Bell needs to just sponsor us
At this point, it's
They're just
embarrassing
giving
that they
us
haven't. Really.
so much free advertising for them on here. Waited out, Stigler, Oklahoma, tornado watch, black as midnight, poured rain, over. Yep,
Now,
that pretty much
Catches
summed it
out,
up.
yeah.
That pretty much sums up what happened to Stigler right there. That pretty much
maybe we
sums it up.
should just turn things over to Elliot here.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick, I don't think I'm gonna do that. That's a pot.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna do that. I like the one that used to have that was a dark cherry, almost black Baja Blast. How do I not know about this?
I don't know. We're going into the Baja Blast lore
Yeah,
right now.
my goodness.
Fort Smith, quick summary. Storms over you guys right now. It's
Yeah.
not a threat necessarily. It's just it is what it is. We
There's a
got
look at
potential
it.
hail in some parts, high winds in some parts,
Yeah.
rain in all parts.
Oh my goodness. Gaither Mountain camera went down again.
Yeah, what's up with that,
Gosh,
man?
you
It's
gotta be
it was
kidding
so
me.
pretty for when it worked.
It only works when we don't have any weather.
Nah,
That's the deal right
That's
there.
that's when you need it.
Yeah.
You know?
Alexis, that storm should pass over your area within the next 20 to 30 minutes. I think. Yeah, that's for sure.
They should sponsor you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, right. And it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Ball blast freezies are good. I'm going to have one after this. I can promise you that.
Maybe they know they've already got us.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't. So maybe we have to start talking about, I don't know. What's a competition for Baja Blast?
I don't know.
What's like Baja Blast? Really?
There's nothing.
It's no.
That's what-
it's
that's
a
the thing.
unique
There's nothing-
experience.
There's nothing like Taco Bell and there's nothing like Mountain Dew.
South of I.
Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do in Florida. I won't have y'all telling me if I'm safe or not. I'm sure they've got some great meteorologists down there,
Yeah.
Alexis. They'll be all over it for you. But we're going to miss you. We're going to miss you here in
Yeah.
Northwest Arkansas. You're our Western Grove representative right there. That's tough. Well, I hope you have a great time in Florida, though. That sounds like a lot of fun. Beach vibes and Universal Studios, Velocicoaster.
Yes.
Coaster.
I don't know what side you're on,
I
but
love that.
white beaches too. Oh, those
Yeah.
are beautiful if you get the chance. Wear sunglasses though, because you will blind yourself out on those. I mean, you
Yes.
reflect.
So asking about the tornado potential south of I-40, it is a little bit more enhanced later on this afternoon, Taylor. It's not high, but it's still there, and it's a little bit more focused. along and south of Interstate 40. So again, additional thunderstorms possible late this afternoon to the evening, mainly in the River Valley in terms of higher and severe weather potential. So Dan, Zach, Peyton will be keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
All right, with that, I think we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Harry, I mean,
this has been fun.
This guy right here, official weather team member, official Baja Blast bro.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
Yeah, fantastic job. Thanks for joining in on this with
fun,
me as
man,
well.
always.
Yep. And again, we'll have the whole weather team here later on this afternoon. Keep an eye on everything, keeping you guys safe. But for now, we're going to drop off coverage. We'll go home and get some sleep, get some Baja Blast in me, and we'll turn things over to the afternoon crew. But stay safe, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good one, y'all.
Yes, sir. God bless. Have a good one, guys.